Today, we're reviewing not one, not two, but 3 lines of Lux. Why? Well, the first events that at Event Lux only did level 100, not 150 or anything else. If I did them separately, it wouldn't be much of a video because it'll only be like a minute or two for each, so we'll just bundle them all together. And we're going to start with Spectral, which was Samhain 2013, very first one. But turns out a lot of stuff is Spectral in its name, so we just scroll through it all real quick. When we hit the S's, we should be good. Slow down a little bit. Alright, first bracelet. Spectral Bracelet of the Hermetic, I think it's called. Could be wrong. 25 armor, 100 defense, 250 energy, and 25 energy regen per tick. For 750 grand, that's not good. That's pretty bad for its price. But it's decent if you can get it cheap. But it does have this special thing on it. This bracelet has a 5% chance to completely protect you from heat, cold, and magic damage. And this health version of the bracelet, 25 armor, 100 attack, 250 health, 25 health regen, better than the energy one, but still pretty pricey. But this one has a 5% chance for slash, crush, and pierce damage. I played around with this proc, and it's unique to these bracelets and pretty nice. I was hitting myself with autos, and whenever I procced, it wouldn't tell you anything. The numbers just wouldn't come up. So, it's kind of confusing to keep track of, but you don't really need to since it nullifies the damage for you. Being that it's an RNG thing, it's pretty unpredictable, and you can have a bunch hit in a row, or a bunch miss in a row, whatever. But back then, and even now, I always thought, maybe, just maybe, these bracelets can be good for endgame tanking someday, because that 5% chance is a solid 5%. And even though it's only against certain damage types, it's still important. Endgame gear might plateau to the point where that would actually be more effective. It's just not today, but maybe later. Who knows? And we'll just keep scrolling to Huntsman Ring, I guess. Wearing this ring, your total defense is increased by 15%, run speed 30, Hunter Stride to boost that to 60%, and 15 armor. 15 armor, that's the only stat, god awful. But the run speed, also bad. Skill, just an insult. But there is one thing on this ring that makes it totally worth it for endgame tanks. A defense solid increase. Now, 15%, it's like you'd say, but defense is one of the things that tanks need to stack. I mean, you could stack health, armor, resist. That's pretty simple, right? But defense and evasion should also be stacked, because every one of those things is less effective per point you put into it. So ideally you want to have a good spread of everything, and this being a percentage boost, and you're probably going to have a lot of defense end game, it'll make a big difference. And it's usually pretty cheap on most worlds. You might be lucky, you might be unlucky. Check around, see what you can do. Oh god. I feel like my whole life led up to this moment. Alright. Spectral Ring of the Reaper. Let me start out by saying, I hate Reaper rings. Almost as much as camo charms. But it's not because of the stats. Let's get into it. Wearing this ring, your total attack is increased by 15%, attack speed is increased by 30%, and you gain the skill Reaper's Touch, which adds 100 poison damage to your attacks for 15 seconds, and 15 armor. 15 armor, like said, it's a non-factor. The skill Reaper's Touch, 100 poison damage is really nice. It's instant cast if I remember right, and has a cooldown of 45 seconds. Assuming that you cast it perfectly every time it's ready, you get a poison DPS of 33.3. It being a haste ring is nice because you can avoid having to use another ring, but the main reason people like this ring is the attack percent bonus. which will help you hit bosses end game. But what people don't really notice is that you don't need that much attack. It's overkill. Here's the thing, if you're going to be spending, what, like 10 million on a ring, you can afford haste or attack licks, which would be even better than the Reaper ring, and you can use another ring in place of that for extra benefit. The reason I hate Reaper rings is because they're so overpriced for no reason. It's not that good, and the percentage does not stack with other percentages like attack licks. Because I tested with a health percent kite and a health percent warhorn. The percents didn't compound, they added. So, just please, keep this in mind. You don't need a Reaper ring. Just buy a 200 haste ring and you'll be fine. Spectral Talisman of Midnight, something I actually like. 40 rejuve. We got 250 magic damage cloak, 100 magic damage, and 35 armor. This 100 magic damage will do a lot for you at level 100, especially if you're a rogue. And this damage cloak even helps you more as a rogue because it'll stack with Riposte. It, in my opinion, is the best 100 Ami in the game. Overall, at least. I mean, a Sun Ami is better for PvP, but think about what is the heart of a level 100? A level 100 wants to level up, ideally, because that's not a level you want to stay at. And it's the best leveling Ami, because not only does it give you direct damage, but 250 magic damage. To get to the skill of a Sun Ami being 2000, you only need to get hit 8 times in 15 seconds. And that's by one enemy. You can get hit by more than one enemy and make it even more effective. It's just really good and very underrated. Most people know it's good. Most people don't know it's broken. And that's all the Spectral stuff. So next we'll go to Icecrystal, which is the next event. Icecrystal Band of the Crusader. And we have Resist Heat of 100, Resist Magic 100, Strength 75. And all these rings are functionally similar. They have different evasions, different resistances, different stats. 75 to stat, and resist 100 to 2 different resists, and an evasion of 100. The Vit ring especially is good, and the Strength ring is good. Ideally you wouldn't want to use a Focus ring as a caster, but it's decent. I don't like the Thief ring. It's just, I don't like Dex. Icecrystal brooches. We'll start with the health one. This skill is basically like Sigils. It works only out of combat. 250 attack, 500 health, 250 energy. And the spark one, also like Sigils, but 250 defense, 250 health, and 500 energy. These two are the only Lux miscellaneous slots in the game. Very weird, but that's just how it is. And they're very overpowered. It's like using a Garanok miscellaneous at 100. It's just that good. As to which one's better, I think the health one's better for PvP and maybe bossing because of the attack. But Spark, I would definitely trade 250 health for 250 defense. It's just a good deal. These Amis, they give 50 health regen for the melee ones, 50 energy regen for the caster ones and dex ones. They give 100 to a stat and 50 to health or energy. Overall, decent, but they costed $1 million, so huge ripoff nowadays. Back then it was pretty good. So if you see one for sale for 500 grand or less, buy it. If it's less, you could shop sell it if you want. One note I want to give you is that melees are bad overall, but casters, most casters would go for this focus one, right? But back in 2013, I was so hardcore that I bought this Vit one over the focus one just for the 50 health over 50 energy. But, you know, it's a pretty good choice. And lastly, we have Sunshard. And Sunshard is where everything went downhill. This bracelet regenerates 20 health and energy per tick, grants a skill called Sunshard Defiance, which increases your defense by 800 for 15 seconds. You can only wear one Sunshard bracelet of the river. 250 energy. Well, what can we really say about this bracelet? The stat sucks, the regen's decent, and the skill seems like a lot, but RNG based like said. And it's not instant cast, so you will literally hurt your DPS to cast it. I actually bought one from the shop to play around with on Fury, and I almost immediately sent in that refund ticket. Lucky me, they refunded it, but still, I wouldn't recommend to anyone, especially because it costs 750 grand. And this bracelet, same rejuve, but its attack and health, a little bit better, but still crap. But there is one very small redeeming quality about these bracelets actually. Yes, the stats are atrocious, but due to how the regen was named, it was called like Summer 2014 Regen in the description. It made it so that it didn't have the same regen icon as other regens, and at a certain time regens actually used to stack with each other on the same slot. Like you could wear 4 health regen rings and you get 4 health regen icons. Now the greatest one takes effect, but since it's called Summer 2014 Regen, it will actually stack with other bracelets. So if you could find another Reju bracelet and you wear it with one of these, you'll have 2 counts of health and 2 counts of energy regen. Small bonus, but worth noting. These Sunshard pendants, 40 health, 45 energy, Sunshard endurance, 150 armor, and 50 all stats. 50 all stats ain't really gonna do much. It's better to have something that's specialized toward you. I guess they thought that, hey, maybe all stats is good, so we'll give it to the players since people love Sunfire helms, but the difference being that that was on a helmet slot. This is a friggin' Ami, it's not worth it. Wild Ami, same thing, but with 5 more health regen, and then it gives you fire damage on your attacks. If I remember right, this is also not instant cast, but 150 fire is a lot. But keep in mind it's temporary, so it might only be good for dueling purposes, and even then I'd rather use a Sun Ami. So these Amis, horrible. Don't buy them. Only resell them to other people or buy them if they're under 500 grand to sell the shop. Rings, regens 20 energy per tick, resistances and focus. Very obvious that this is terrible. It does give a lot of energy regen, but that's about it. In this 20 health tick ring, armor and strength, no. It looks like they tried to make Sunshard a regen based Lux, but that backfired completely when they made the newer Lux after this even better. So now it's just trash tier. But anyway, there's my reviews on the 3 level 100 Luxes, and I hope it could give you some insight on this stuff.